Hello and welcome to your NB19.1. Starting right up front, we have a light just in case you need to hook up at night. Up and down for your power tongue jack here. Right behind it, if you do peel this little tab up, you can insert a tool here and manually override it to crank it up or down just in case this ever electrically goes out. Right in here you have your propane tank. It's not hooked up at the moment, but otherwise you would just turn left to open it, right to close it. To have this work, push down, lift this up, and then kind of crank it on, push down, crank to the right, push down, crank to the left, and then once it's unscrewed, you can go ahead, open that up. This is where your battery would be, and right next to it would be your battery disconnect. So you can cut the power off from the battery to the inside of the camper with this switch here. All you do is just go from that to off or off to on and then cut the power. But obviously there's no battery, so it's not going to be doing anything because we are connected to shore power. Moving on, you're going to have your storage in here, your water systems. So starting right up the top here, you have your fresh water connection, also known as your fresh tank. So it's just a gravity fill. It's just a big tank inside your system. So if you go plan on camping out in the middle of nowhere, you can go ahead, fill this up beforehand, and then while you're out there, turn on your water pump, and that water pump will take this tank and give you running water while you're not connected. What I mean by that is this city water connection. So when you're at a campground, this is what you plug your campground hose into to get running water while you're there. I also highly recommend a water pressure regulator because that water pressure regulator will help kind of dumb down the pressure if there's too much pressure, so it won't end up damaging your lines. And then just below it, you have your low point drains there, hot and cold. And then right behind it, you have your fresh tank drain right there. Moving up a tad just to your water heater here. So starting off, I'm just gonna start off with this here. This is that cap for your fresh tank drain, what I just showed you underneath. This is your anode rod. So this anode rod takes the beating for your tank and will actually deteriorate over time. All the hard water is gonna eat at this and not your tank, so this protects it. So what you're gonna wanna do is insert that, take a 1 1/16 socket, tighten that down, and go to the inside of your camper, turn on the hot side of your faucet. It's gonna sputter for a little bit. That's just all the air getting pushed out of your tank. Once you have a steady flow, go ahead, turn this on. You can flip it on right here as well. And then, of course, use it. When you're done, because water does get stagnant, go ahead, pull this up. The pressure will then release, so you'll hear it hiss for a little bit. Once it's done hissing, go ahead, take your socket, pull this back out, and then all the water will drain right out of that hole there. And then when you're done, pop that down. It's getting stuck on something here. There we go. And then just close that up. Moving on, cable satellite input there. Camp power or shore power here. Just underneath is going to be your sewer connection. So there's that, and then your 2 tanks, black tank on the left, gray tank on the right. Your black tank is going to be your toilet, so toilet paper and others, and then the gray tank is going to be more of like a shower or sink. So what I do recommend is doing the black tank first, just because that's the dirtiest out of the 2. And then going up here, doing the black tank flush, which is just when you insert a pressurized hose, it kind of turns on a sprinkler inside the system, which helps drain anything that may have gotten stuck on the way out. Just completely helps flood it out. And then I recommend doing the gray tank last once the black tank is shut, just because that's the cleanest water out of the 2. So it gives it just one last little rinse before you go ahead and put your hands back on there. Moving on to your tires, they have a little green cap on them. That green cap just indicates that your tires are filled with nitrogen. You are able to fill them with regular air. They don't inflate or deflate with temperature change. Ladder here, rated for 250 pounds. Walkable roof. And then for this, I'm just gonna kind of briefly go over it with you. So I'm just gonna do this one side. Let me move this out the way there. So all you gotta do is come to these little pins down here, pull these off like that. 1, 2. Go ahead, pull both of those out. Work your way down. Do the same with these two. Same, pop both of those. Oh, they're opposite this time. So this top one this way, bottom one that way, and then you can move these inside, lay them down, fold them up however you'd like, and then you can go ahead and lift these up and latch it, which I'm gonna get to in just a moment. But I'm going to insert these back in. I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. Just lift up, get one through. Get the other through. And then move these around. They'll come right back up, like that. And then you'll be good to go. Obviously don't do this while they're up, but to latch it, you just lift this up, and I'll kind of show you what it looks like underneath. Moving down to this part here. So all this is the closing portion. So obviously you'd have this entire net off. You turn this until it'll go about one more turn, so another 90 degrees down, it'll be facing that way. And once it's across, you just go ahead, pull it out. You can see how it kind of flips that way. So you move it until it's facing that way. Go ahead, move the door up, shut it. And then to keep these together, when these are folded up, so I don't know why I just did that, but when this door is over here, you can go ahead and latch them together with this Velcro so you can keep them tucked in and tucked away. For your steps, make sure your door is completely open. Otherwise, this piece will scrape the side of your door, right there. Just lift up, insert, pull the blue tab to make sure it's in. To move the legs, all you do is push this in and then move these up or down. To take them out, all you do is pull this blue tab and then pull. And drop it. You are going to want to make sure that it's completely flush on either side. Otherwise, when you go to shut your door, it'll dent and scratch the bottom portion of that. Porch light and awning light there. So this is going to be your furnace exhaust. So when you have the heat on, the excess heat will kick out of here and actually start to heat this up. So if you have any little kids or someone who may not know, just let them know don't touch that because they will get burned. So for your griddle, you can set it up out here and connect the LP hose. The LP quick connected down here so you can get propane going. And then you also have a outdoor spray port right there. And then 110 outlets, just in case you need to plug anything outside. Then more storage up front here. So that outside shower hose, you have a table, and then your griddle's inside. And then your spare tire. Good thing about the spare tire is that it's the exact same as that. It's not like a tire donut or anything like that. You can just go ahead, if that ever gets flat, just pop that right on there and it won't affect anything. One last thing while we're out on the outside, it's this little black tab there. If the awning ever electrically goes out, you can pop that tab off, insert a tool, and then crank this back in or out. Moving inside here, this is going to be an extra table that they give you. You can also move these couches up or down. There's the griddle actually right here. So it's just, oh, grab the wrong piece. It's just like a jackknife you just kind of pull out and lay down. And then you pull up, give it a little bit of pressure going in, it'll bend, and eventually get upright like that. But you can go ahead, set it right back like that. And then moving over to your electronic board here, you have your awning, which I'm going to fully extend. One thing about this is when you get fully extended, the flap will come down. Then you'll be able to see the black bar behind it. Once you see that, do not keep going because it will actually reel in the opposite way and end up breaking. So just like that. There it goes. So there's the excess flap and then the black bar behind it. You kind of see the difference there. And then to pitch it for the rain, there's a little yellow piece over there that tells you where you can do it, but you can do it on either side. Just grab, pull down, the elbow will bend, and it'll fold down, and then all the rain will then drain off that one side and push it back up, and go ahead and reel it right back in. Moving on, you're gonna have your awning LED, porch light, which you can choose either LED, which is gonna be the up. You can flick it up, and then you can flick it middle, and then down, and the down is gonna be that orange light. Interior lights, and then let me flick this on a minute. This activates that top little strip there. Moving on to the thermostat. You just keep pressing this to whatever you'd like. So it's off, fan low, fan high, cool low, low auto, high auto, and then heat. And then you can go ahead and adjust your temperature with the up and down arrows there. For a carbon release, you just pull and give it some pressure and it'll open up. You don't really need to pull as much as you do push, but just gotta give a good amount of pressure to open these up. If you do decide to put a toy in here, you can let out the carbon fumes with that. For these little AC vents, you can control which way it's blowing with these little switches here, just like that. For the refrigerator, you move this piece here. The higher the number is, the colder it's gonna get. I'll leave it at 5. And then for the freezer, it's gonna be in the back here. Minimum, mid, and max. Max is obviously going to be the maximum amount of coldness you get out of that. Light, fan. For the stove, you just press down, turn, and you go ahead and light with a lighter, both sides. Just below that, you got your microwave. Why not? There, I'll just click this in. There you go. It's being difficult. For this is actually called your road vac. So you slide this over. You have the option to insert a tool here, which ends up as a vacuum. Sorry, I saw numbers on there, how to clear that. And then, so you can insert a tool there. To check the bags, you just put your finger in there, press, open up. You can tell the name of the brand by the back of the bag. Those come separately, so you will have to buy those. Let's say you're sweeping and you don't want to bend down all the way. You can just go ahead and flip this up with your feet. And then sweep it in there while it's going. For the inside here, there's no battery, so it's not gonna read. But this is your slower charge controller. You can choose amp and voltage with that, and the battery type with that button there. just below here, it's just a foot flush. You just go ahead and press your foot down and it'll flush. You're going to need toilet solution along with RV grade toilet paper. The toilet paper will help break down easier so it won't clog your systems, and then the solution will help break down solids and smells. Moving up to this is going to be your fan. You pull down to unlock, and then you can open by opening to the left. Let's open up a little bit. And then buttons here, fan, 1 level, 2nd level, 3rd, and whatnot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then fan off. Close to the right. Push it down, press up to lock. Moving over to the right, obviously bathroom light. And then you have a heated holding tank system. So what that is just like a little heater underneath all of your tanks. So your fresh tank, gray and black, it just helps it so it won't freeze if you're in a colder temp. And then for this, you have your battery reader, fresh tank, black tank, and gray tank reader, water heater, and water pump. So like I said, once you have a steady flow coming out of that hot side, you can turn it on. For your water pump, once you have water inside your fresh tank, you can go ahead and flip that and use it when you're out in the middle of nowhere. So the shower mice are here. So this is just a feature to help you save water. So for example, you can turn on the hot side, flip this little switch, and it'll recycle over and over until it gets warm, and you don't need to worry about it coming out. So A, it won't flip your tanks, B, it won't waste water, and then C, it'll get it hot on time. So let's say you turn on, you'll grab your towel, clothes, use the bathroom, whatever you need to do, and then by the time you get back, you can go ahead and flip that switch, and then the hot water will come out. Keys here. It's key-like, so everything goes off of this key. Right down here, press, open up, you have your breakers and your fuses. So for the fuses, I recommend bringing some extras just in case. I would rather just be safe than sorry. But you can pick them up at any AutoZone or any auto parts store like that. And then the breakers, they're labeled out just like the house would be. So this is going to be your inverter. So it's not working right now because nothing's plugged in. Well, battery-wise plugged in. But otherwise, this would use certain settings for your battery. So it'll run some, for example, some outlets and other things like that. It won't power AC or anything like that. But it'll just keep smaller things going while you're out in the middle of nowhere. Put that on off. For those. And then for these lights, you can section them off by pressing just like that. Lock box inside there. And otherwise, guys, that was your orientation. Enjoy.